From Quest team and Kashmir University, we wish all of you Eid Mubarak. Please remember us in your prayers. Hello and welcome to the weekly Kashmir University Video Digest Quest. First, a look at the highlights. Vice-Chancellor holds meeting with college principals. A workshop on food fortification held. A day-long seminar on income tax awareness organized. And History Department initiates recording of oral history. Now the details of all these events with your host Nisar Dharma. A meeting between various college principals and the Vice-Chancellor of Kashmir University was held in the committee room of the administration block. During the meeting, principals of the Valley colleges put forward many suggestions and problems before the Vice-Chancellor.
These students, they are eligible to have provisional admission, but they don't feel comfortable with provisional admission. They wait for declaration of result. So that approach failed, that formula failed.
Latest admission of students is concerned. If the university wasn't under pressure from the government, proposed them to induct these students at this time, because when 60% syllabus is already covered, how these students can make in these days?
I don't think now there is a need of any centralized admission because most of the seats remain vacant for BCA as well as BBA.
Responding to their queries, the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Khurshid Iqbal Andrabi, told them that a course review committee will be formed to discipline and for accountability purposes.
Course review committee is not an inspection. It would be how much justice I was able to do to the satisfaction of the student. That is what this course review committee is. And we receive lots of complaints from our own departments here at the university that our course was finished only 60%, the examination was declared, which is obviously unfair. If my child had gone through only 60% of the syllabus, then he would be examined for 100% of the syllabus, it would be unfair. This course review committee limits exactly all these constraints and tells us that the syllabus has been finished to 60%. Maybe we take a call and ask them questions from their 60% itself, such that we also become accountable that why was I able to only finish 60%, whereas the other people were able to finish 100%. So I basically empower myself to take more classes, perhaps give extra classes, perhaps to compensate for that, so the sense of responsibility pops in much more than otherwise.
Professor Andrabi requested all principals to bring the academic session back on track in the larger interest of the student fraternity.
See, government may be inclined to have the session in August or whatever. I'm not sure about that. But then as long as there is no directive from the government, it is my responsibility to request you that the session should be brought back to where it belonged. That means March, April. Should we not be able to do this year, next year it should be back on rails. So that if we lost 4 months this year, if we were able to bring it back by 2 months, the next year the session would be exactly where it belonged. Having done this preliminary exercise of what we have actually had quite a few meetings on whether we should have a July-August session or we should have a March session, I think the larger consensus is that we should have the session exactly what we have. So in that context, if all of us are on board that the session has to be brought back exactly where it belonged, unless otherwise indicated by the government, I think then some innovative methodologies have to be adopted such that at least the time lost has to be compensated for somehow.
Controller of Examinations, Professor Abdul Salam Bhatt, impressed upon the college principals that courses must be completed within the stipulated time so that exams do not get delayed.
If everything else remains the same, there is no reason that why not second-year and third-year examinations will pick up from November itself, provided the course contents have been completed, say, latest by 31st of October. If that happens, then there is no reason to worry about that by just gaining 2 months this year and gaining 2 months next year. We hope, and let's try for that. Let us gain all the 4 months during this year itself. For that, 2 things have to happen. One, we have to ensure at the college level that courses are completed latest by, say, 31st of October. That is the main prerequisite. And second prerequisite is that the biannual examinations have started. Please cooperate. Wherever, for instance, we need the space, wherever we need your assistance, please come forward and help us there.
The Department of Business and Financial Studies, in collaboration with the Department of Food Technology and Voice Society, New Delhi, organized a 2-day workshop on food fortification. The inaugural function was held in the EMMRC auditorium. Head DBFS Professor Riaz Ahmad Raniyi presented the welcome address.
Food fortification, in common parlance, means to increase the quality of food or drink by adding something to it. Consumer-driven food fortification, as observed in developing countries, is far from being achieved in many developing countries. Urbanization is leading to increased production and consumption of commercially processed foods, but they are not yet regularly consumed in significant amounts by low-income households who are at the risk of vitamin A deficiency. In the absence of educated consumers, mandatory fortification is one or more processed staple foods to meet the lowest amount of fortified food is needed. An encouraging policy environment for voluntary fortification is needed to be created in developing countries, especially if fortified food can be made affordable to low-income consumers.
Head Department of Food Science and Technology, Professor Farooq Ahmad Masoodi, in his keynote address said that fortified food targets the staple diet of the people.
If they distribute fortified atta here in the valley of Kashmir, I think that won't be having that much impact. But if they somehow fortify rice, or you might have heard of golden rice, which is, say, biofortification, if those things we consider, or those parts of southern India where rice is the staple food, chapati, fortification of atta cannot have that much impact there. And then once we fortify any product, say at industrial level, either we enrich it or we restore it what was there in the original food product. Once we fortify food at the industry level where it is produced, and when it reaches the consumer's table, lot of time elapses between these 2 points, when it's produced in the factory and when it's delivered to the consumer. What's the fate of those nutrients which we add to the food at the factory level?
Dean Faculty of Commerce and Management Studies, Professor Khurshid Ahmed Butt, said that hidden hunger affects a large number of population in the world.
Around 2 billion people are affected by, this hidden hunger. So almost 1/3 of the world population does suffer from this problem. And so there is a need to have regularly, such type of education and awareness programs. We know so far as this hunger or hidden hunger is concerned, poverty is one of the fundamental reasons for, hunger and hidden hunger. But we also know it is not only the poverty, it is the political conflicts, the armed conflicts, the war, which actually lead to displacement. And that is also responsible for hunger and hidden hunger.
Chief Operations Office of Voice Society, Mr. Ashim Sanyal, said that malnutrition is the main reason for various diseases and deaths among newborn children.
Micronutrient in terms of vitamin A, D, folic acid, iodine, iron, those are required for the mother and the child in large quantities. If sufficient quantity of these micronutrients are not present in the mother's body, then the child obviously is not normal, even before birth. काफ़ी खतरनाक सिचुएशन इसलिए है क्योंकि अगर आप शहर में, गांव में देखें तो incidents of deformed babies are very common. Incidents of children born with deformities are very common. Incidents of stillborn children is very common. ये क्यों होते हैं? ये इसलिए होते हैं because हमारे पास lack of knowledge है in terms of what is the requirement of the mother and the child even before the child is born. The second phase is basically the maximum growth of a child is between the pregnancy period, that is the 9 months, and thereafter 2.5 to 3 years.
Directorate of Internal Quality Assurance organized a day-long seminar on income tax awareness. The seminar was held in the EMMRC auditorium. Principal Commissioner of J&K's Income Tax Department, Mrs. Sangeeta Gupta, who was chief guest at the seminar, said that many people possess PAN cards, but most of them do not file income tax.
My basic purpose, which allowed me when I joined the state as the Principal Commissioner J&K, was that about 13 lakhs people in the state are PAN card holders. Most of you must be having PAN cards. But out of that, only 84,000 people are filing their income tax returns and paying their taxes. I find that this is a very big mismatch. I'm told people are using their PAN card as an identity card, showing that, yes, this is my identity, I have a proof. Then still I feel that the gap is too much, and my biggest task this year is to widen the tax base. The Prime Minister is very keen. When he came to know that 125 crore population, only 3.25 crore people are paying taxes, filing their returns. And he was alarmed by the situation. He said, you people have to take this as a priority and add about some 350 crores new assessees. We said it's a very difficult task. We would rather add 1 crore new assessees this year.
Dean Students Welfare, Professor Nilofer Khan, thanked Income Tax Officer for organizing such an awareness program.
I must thank our resource person for today, Madam Sangeeta ji. You know, a good gesture from Department of Income Tax to have this awareness, basic awareness program at the University of Kashmir. I think we need many more, specifically for our, females who at the end of the year, we all get pent up to file our income tax, of which, we are not aware at all. And of course, we consult our CEAs and we go to our accounts branch and all that to file our taxes. Was a great, interactive session. And I must tell my student from Department of Law.
An interactive session with students of the Law Department was also held. Deputy Director DICA, Mr. Shaukat Shafi, conducted the proceedings of the event.
We are for you, we are for your growth, we are for your prosperity, we are for your progress. And these seminars, which are being held by the Directorate of Internal Quality Assurance and also by the Department of Students Welfare, are aimed at your growth. They say, to exist is to change is to mature, and to mature is to go on creating oneself endlessly. Let us be the process, let us be the partner for this change.
The Department of History has started an initiative in which they are recording oral history. In this connection, they invited a former district education officer, Mr. Abdul Rahman Kallu of Bandipur district, to narrate socio-political and economic history of early 1940s and 50s. Head Department of History, Professor Muhammad Yusuf Ganai, in his introductory remark, outlined the aim of recording oral history.
By doing this, we are basically preserving the history of Kashmir, history of its polity, history of its economy, history of its society. Musalman मॉडर्न जदीद को जो तालीमी निज़ाम था उसमें पीछे थे, और आप देखिए 1952 में उन्होंने अमर सिंह कॉलेज से उस वक्त BSc किया है. I have heard high about Kallu Sahab wherever we went in North Kashmir या तहसील सोनावारी. ऐसे उन्होंने अपने कैरियर बशीद उस्ताद शुरू किया है. Mashallah, as teacher he has been successful and dedicated, committed, and then he has become the officer, Tehsil education officer, then district officer. But I have heard ये ऐसे अपने ज़माने के टीचर रहे हैं जो शाम के वक्त अजस में घर घर जाके ये देखते थे क्योंकि उन दोनों मुसलमान बच्चों का मैट्रिक करना, मैट्रिक क्वालिफाई करना कार्य दारद वाला मामला होता था.
Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Kallu said that headmasters during his time would compulsorily teach a subject, and other teachers of that school would listen and hone their teaching skills.
मैं गवर्नमेंट सेक्रेटरी की बात करूंगा, जैसे कि हमारे वक्त में हुआ करता था. हर एक हेडमास्टर, ये ध्यान में रखिए, हर एक हेडमास्टर उसके अंडर 4 या 5 टीचर काम करते थे या 10 टीचर काम करते थे. हेडमास्टर खुद एक कंपलसरी सब्जेक्ट पढ़ाया करता था, चाहे मैथ्स हो, चाहे इंग्लिश हो, चाहे सोशल स्टडीज़ हो. एक सब्जेक्ट वो खुद पढ़ाया करता था और उसके पढ़ाने के तरीके से बकाया जो टीचर्स थे वो सीखते थे कि कैसे पढ़ाना चाहिए जब वो रिजल्ट दिखाता था. बाद में क्या हुआ कि शायद उन्होंने पढ़ाना वो काम करना छोड़ दिया. एक बात ये थी. दूसरी बात ये थी कि हमारे सुपरवाइजिंग एजेंसी जो थे, सुपरवाइजर जो थे, वो सिलेक्ट किया करते थे. उस वक्त उनको सिलेक्ट करते थे, उनको बाय प्रमोशन या बाय सीनियरिटी नहीं लेते थे. उनको सिलेक्शन करते थे कि कौन सा आदमी कहाँ पर फिट होगा एज तहसील एजुकेशन ऑफिसर या डिस्ट्रिक्ट एजुकेशन ऑफिसर या जोनल एजुकेशन ऑफिसर.
He also said that socio-economic conditions in the 40s and 50s were pathetic.
Pre-47 फंसनाली से पहले अगर देखा जाए तो हम खुद कपील थे. अस कम कशीर मज कैंस वक्त बत खेवान, सह पन्नुई आसान. कैंस वक्त मकाई वाट खेवान, सह पन्नी आसान. कैंस वक्त अगर कुछ वक्त ये आसान, मकाई तस आसान, दान तस आसान. कैंस वक्त खेवान टंग खेवान, टंग टंग खेवान. अगर सह कुछ वक्त कैंस वक्त तुल खेवान. मगर पन्नुई सोरे कह आसान. पन्नुई पलव ति, पन्नुई मकान ति, पन्नुई बत ति, पन्नुई सिउन ति, पन्नुई ठूल ति, पन्नुई दोद ति, पन्नुई सोरे कह पन्नुई तह पन्नुई. अगर अथ पे रोजाए तम वक्त जमीन तथ जमीन ज्यादा खुद ज्यादा नान 2 खर 2.5 खर नान कनालस. तम पे नबर अनान कहें 2 खर 2.5 खर नीरित ति. मगर यम सात पे 47 पे फर्टिलाइजर आए, 47 पे नो हवा आव, नई चीज आए. यम सात पे वो पे चाइना बेल आव वावन, तम सी आई पे कनालस द्राय पे कुन जाए 8 खर, कुन जाए 9 खर, कुन जाए 12 खर ति द्राय कनालस मज. अगर सह तम हिसाब आसो रूदमत, मेस ख्याल वनस यीत परेशान कहें. वनकस कहें चीज अगर तुम गरस मज नजर त्रो कहें चीज कशुर तक.
A film on September 2014 floods was released in the EMMRC auditorium. The film, Shrouded Paradise, produced and directed by Jalaluddin Baba, showed how people helped each other during the deluge.
September 7, 2014, the fateful day for Kashmir, when nature was angry beyond limits. The thriving Srinagar city was transformed into a huge muddy water body. Water was everywhere, literally everywhere, gushing in madness, spreading horror.
The father didn't know the son didn't know where the wife is, the parents didn't know where the kids are. So it was a big wave, it was the biggest human misery ever seen or thought about.
The film was released in collaboration with the Department of Earth Sciences. With this, we come to the end of our today's program. In case you have missed some parts of Quest, log on to our website emmrckashmir.com to watch it online. Send us your valuable suggestions at our email address quest@emmrckashmir.com. Before I take your leave, here are a few words of wisdom. How lucky Adam was. He knew when he said a good thing, nobody had said it before.